This is Scott Greenya from Fairfax, Vermont, also known as Scotty DeQ, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
We'll do it live. Okay. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening, and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. We originate from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, affectionately known as the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I happen to be your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening. If you have always desired to jump into this show live on a Tuesday via email or via phone call, let me tell you the two ways to do that.
You can get in touch with the show by calling 216-220-0966. Email Greg at the bbqcentralshow.com. On the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter that was delivered a little bit later on earlier this afternoon, coming up at 9:14. Folks, if you can believe it or not, we are now in the last quarter of the year. It is the first full week of October coming down, October 3rd to be exact. And you know what the first Tuesday of every month brings? A visit from the good barbecue Dr. Ray Lampe joining us for the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. So looking forward to catching up with Ray. We'll be able to take a look back. You know, about a month ago, Ray was preparing for a rather large hurricane. He has come out relatively unscathed, but we'll get a recap from him post-hurricane. Restaurants, there was perhaps a Twitter dust-up that took place over the weekend that we'll get some insight on, so looking forward to talking to Ray at 9:14 as usual. And then we'll move to the 9:35 segment, and joining me, one of the longest-running sponsors of the show, and the pitmaster of Butcher's Barbecue Competition Cooking Team, Dave Bosca, joins me. Dave took a grand championship this past weekend in a funny named city in Oklahoma that I can't remember right off the top of my head, like Sapaloosa or something like that. But he had an interesting event, to say the least. So looking forward to talking to David about that at 9:35. And then we'll move to the second hour. First timer to the show, bloodlines of barbecue legend run through this guy's veins. And with the last name like Raymond, you know he's probably going to get into the barbecue business. But I will be talking with Deuce Raymond from Deuce's Wild and SBR Event Group at 9:14. We'll learn a lot about him, where his interest from barbecue lies, if it's a road that might be different than you might think. So looking forward to an initial conversation with Deuce Raymond at 10:14, and then we'll move on to 10:35, as we affectionately refer to it as the bullpen segment. And warming up right now, but coming out at 10:35 is none other than the pitmaster of Lucky's Q. Justin McGlawn will be joining me to take a look ahead at this weekend's events as it relates to the National Pro Barbecue Tour. It is all culminating this coming weekend in the national finals and the, I believe, 6th. So this would be the 6th overall National Grand Championship will be crowned this coming weekend. It started in 2011. Justin actually won the national title, or Lucky's Q won the national title 2012. So we'll talk to him about getting back there yet again, his odds of taking down another national championship title, all the good stuff that you've come to know and love here from this Here Barbecue Show, and the questions that we ask those pitmasters that everybody wants to know. So looking forward to this 2-hour show, especially this evening. Let everybody know the show's on. Send them to my Facebook page for a live video feed, facebook.com/BBQ Central, or you can send them to the longtime video syndication partner of the show, OutdoorCookingChannel.com, or the audio stream, which also streams audio 24/7, even after show hours, the BBQCentralShow.com, and Roku as well. A lot of internet protocol televisions showing the Barbecue Central Show, or the Outdoor Cooking Channel more specifically, but obviously I'm really like the only live show on Outdoor Cooking Channel anymore. I believe there was a Chad Ward sighting last week. I can't confirm that because it looks like this week he was off.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Ooh, I had to put in that one show every 3 months. I need a 5-month vacation, everybody. See you in 5 months, everybody. Just kidding. So that's how you can find this show. So let everybody know. Share it on Facebook. Man, Facebook is really pumping me up. I don't want to discourage anybody in the Outdoor Cooking Channel chat room, but as soon as Facebook is somehow able to figure out how to put a chat window on the page where it's not just a rolling post, that's really kind of cumbersome for me to tool through and react to because it's a thread. But if they can figure out how to do some type of an instant chat like they have with Outdoor Cooking Channel, you know, bad news for Outdoor Cooking Channel. I might be out of here. Just go right to Facebook.
Get that big stuff out of here.
I get metrics. I can tell how many people have seen the posts that I make, how many people have viewed the video. 2 weeks ago, I had over 5,000 views on the Slaps edition, if you remember that one. Joe Pierce from Slaps. That was a huge show rated. Facebook is really pumping me up. A lot of people seeing it there because, hey, what are you doing at 9 o'clock at night on a Tuesday? Trolling through Facebook. So you find this show if you follow it. So tell everybody about it on Facebook. Tell them to like me or thumb me or whatever the hell you do on Facebook. So there you go. I wanted to do a quick revision or a revisit of the Embedded Barbecues correspondence segment from last week. Of course, this is a growing monthly segment. I have envisioned it as having a bunch of embedded correspondence throughout the country just to kind of help the show, feed news segments, hot topics, all that other stuff, but then generated that into an actual segment that we've been doing here over the last 3 months, and it's been very successful. I'm getting a lot of emails, a lot of social media private direct messages saying, hey, we love this segment, a lot of great views and takes and opinions. However, last week, and I was even short one panel member because Patrick was vacationing in the Martha's Vineyard area of Martha's Vineyard. Not to be redundant. And I still ran over. And if you're a fan of the show, you would notice that I extended the segment. It was at the 9:35 segment. The first 2 months, it was going so well. I said, I want to give these guys more time. I want to make sure we get all of our takes out. Everybody has time to react to the whole topic that each individual person is bringing to the table here. So we moved it to the 10:14. We blew right through that time. That's one of the longer segments of this show. We blew right through it. Luckily, I backstopped by not booking a guest at 10:35. Otherwise, we would have been hammered again. But we were able to eat through the 10:35 segment, have enough time to get through everybody. However, here's what I'm thinking. We are not going to be hosting a 5-panel embedded correspondence segment going further. It will be 4. I am having 3 designated panel members that will be there each and every month. Those are Doug Scheiding, Roe Cookers, Steve Ray, Owl's Nest Barbecue, and David Huff from Huff Daddy's Barbecue. And then we will have a rotating 4th. That will be DJ Howie D. That will be Patrick Paquette. Might very well be a Paul Shoddy from Head Country. If you're interested in sitting in, I'm more than happy to have you. So it will be a rotating 4th seat each and every 4th Tuesday of the month at 10:14. So if you're interested, hit me up. More than happy to add you to that rotating 4th seat. But that's how it's going to be this month, and then we will reevaluate again after the 4th embedded segments correspondent takes place, again on the 4th Tuesday of this month of October. I got an email from Jeff Stone. It says, hey, Greg, couple of years ago, I put away my barbecue competition heart. Sadly, this included listening to your show. What? Just wanted to say I started listening again, and it seems even better than previously before. Still not ready to go back to competing, but I'm glad to have rediscovered your show. Regards, Jeff Stone from Grandpa's Pride Barbecue. Jeff, thank you very much, sir. By the way, Jeff has a website, grandpa'spridebbq.com, if you want to check out what he writes about. A lot of barbecue musings over there. But very happy that you have discovered or rediscovered the show, Jeff, and that you find it perhaps even better than the last time you remember. And that's saying something because I'm sure the last time it was absolutely outstanding. Love to hear that. All right, before we get to Ray Lampe, I want to talk to you quickly about Cook Shack. They manufacture smoker ovens for barbecue lovers with any amount of experience, whether you barbecue in the backyard, on the competition circuit, in a 5-star dining facility. Cook Shack has the unit that will do the job. And with a full line of barbecue sauces, spices, pellets, and wood chunks, it's the perfect one-stop shop. Cook Shack strives to be your barbecue resource center by offering cooking classes, online recipes, how-to videos, 2 blogs, Smoke and Grilling 101s, and a video cooking classroom. Check out their website at cookshack.com or follow them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+. Get advice or share your passion for barbecue on their world-class barbecue forum. They still have one of those. Cook Shack pellet-fired smokers are the choice of champions because they were designed by a champion. Who, you ask? Ed Fast Eddie Moore. And of course, the FEC 100, PG 1000, always customer favorites. The PG 1000 can actually double as a smoker and a grill. Low and slow, hot and fast, the pellet grill line gives you the most for your money. Cook Shack residential electric smokers, if you're thinking about those, they happen to be the #1 smoker in the industry. High quality means high durability and versatility. Anything you can cook in your oven, you can make in a Cook Shack. Passion and dedication drives Cook Shack's manufacturing, with quality always being the top priority. You can get the best in barbecue since 1962 by doing one of these 2 things. You call them directly, 800-423-0698, or you visit their website, cookshack.com. Very easy to do, longtime sponsor of the show, and happy to have them. Again, 800-423-0698, or cookshack.com. We are back with Ray Lampe right after this with the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here, the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. Be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, the 2017 grant program was a raging success for Smithfield. So, if you want your event to be considered for 2018, head on over to smokinwithsmithfield.com right now and apply for the 2018 grant program. Applications being taken until October 25th, so you have about 3 weeks left or so. Don't miss out. Sold out very quickly this season. So if you want to do it for 2018, smokinwithsmithfield.com and apply again. October 25th is your cutoff date. Check that out. Thanks to Smithfield, of course.
If you got questions about barbecue or grilling, maybe as a hobby or even a business, looking to get an expert's point of view, why not ask Dr. Barbecue? You can submit your questions by clicking on the Ask Dr. Barbecue tab on the website. The doctor is in. Here's Ray Lampe with his nurse, Greg Rempe. Dr. Barbecue.
That's right. Ray Lampe joining us here on the show. Ray, how are you, buddy? Oh, dear. Oh, Ray, you there? Ray? Hello, Ray? Can you hear me, Ray? Oh, just hung up on me. Sounds like we might have him here. Ray?
Hey, Greg.
Uh-oh, we went right to the phone.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm having trouble with my audio on my Skype. I thought I had it figured out, and there was no audio. Sorry about that.
That's no problem there. I'm glad we can link up this way at least. Cool shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, these are the new shirts for the restaurant.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, that's
yeah, we have shirts. We have no restaurant, but we have shirts.
I was going to say you are a brilliant segue artist, if I may say so. I was going to ask you to lead off with that. I know the last time we spoke, it was a little bit more of a frustration on your face of saying, "Geez, you say one thing, you don't want to commit to a date or really pump it out there, but when you're getting hung up with a lot of red tape and people just not seeming to have the same urgency that you do to get this thing off and running." Any improvement at all, or kind of status quo, unfortunately?
Yeah, no, it's moving on. We actually started to get some movement, and then we had the hurricane kind of stopped everything for a week or two. But we have moved on now, and we've started working, and we expect the full permits any day. So yeah, we're good finally. It's just it's a big project. It takes time. We did feel like we were getting neglected a little bit. I had a conversation with somebody at City Hall, and it seems to have started moving now. So I think we're okay. It's just one of them things, you hope your project isn't going to be delayed and take that long, but you know what, it does.
So maybe end of the year, possibly turn of the year, or we're not even really looking at that?
Well, I can't imagine we're going to try and rush to open a week before Christmas, as much as we'd love to. So my guess is it'll be after the first of the year.
As I had mentioned a couple minutes ago, the last time we were talking, you were prepping for like the biggest hurricane ever that ripped through Florida. We're about a month away from it or so. How did you fare during it? You actually rode out the hurricane, very risky, and just wondering kind of if you dodged a bullet, if you took a substantial amount of damage, like where was it from your end?
Yeah, we definitely dodged the bullet. It was really crazy. We were supposed to be in Chicago for the weekend, coming home Sunday night, and Sunday night was when the hurricane hit.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be an unpleasant situation. We weren't going to be able to get back, and who knows when we were going to be able to get back. And frankly, our flight was going to have us stuck in Detroit. It wasn't even going to be in Chicago, so it was really going to be a problem. So we decided to stay, and then at the last minute, it was really looking like all of a sudden the hurricane took a weird turn, which they're known to do, and it looked like it was really going to get us. We thought about leaving then again. It's tough because once you leave, it's really hard to get back. And frankly, our house, we found out, is 45 feet above sea level, which I was telling somebody a story in Colorado last week, and it was like, well, in Colorado, 45 feet above sea level doesn't sound that high, but in Florida, it is. Yep. So we were safe from any flooding. And so I boarded up the windows, and we hoped for the best. Our power got blown out almost immediately and was out for 5 days, and that really got old. I got to be honest. We had a generator that we shared with the neighbor to keep the refrigerators going and stuff, but it got a little old after 5 days. So we're actually looking into a whole house generator at this point. But other than that, we really didn't have any issues. We got the freezers kept in fridge. We kept powered up, so we were okay there, and we were prepared for it. So it really wasn't, everything was okay. It's just miserable, man. No power, and pretty much everything stops. Restaurants are closed, stores are closed. You don't get any work done. We had our cell phones the whole time, so it was like we were in touch with the outside world. But
so all in all, it could have been 100 times worse, of course.
Absolutely, yeah. No question. We got really lucky. But, one of the things that I think about now is it was really a glancing blow, yeah. And it was a one when it hit us. And we were on the good side of it. It was a glancing blow. And we still lost a bunch of trees and our power for 5 days. So it's pretty scary what if we really would have got hit with a 4. The guys down in Naples took a big hit, man. So, yeah, we got really lucky. We for all practical purposes, it missed us. And it's just part of living in Florida. It's not that big of a deal.
Natural disasters, and if people decide to leave or not, continually fascinates me. So you have a certain amount of people that they weren't going to go no matter what. Then you had people that were like, we're out of here no matter what. And then you have the other people in the middle that are vacillating to a certain degree, and then they either decide, okay, we're going to go, or okay, we're going to stay. This is a hurricane.
Yeah, I understand you. When we make our decision, and it was a day or two ahead, whatever we decide, that's our decision, and we're okay with it. You gotta live with it. You know, you can't. At some point, you got to decide what you're doing.
So here's the question of the day: if instead of the hurricane that was bigger than the state ripping up it, and it was a wildfire from the Everglades burning up the state of Florida, would you have left or would you have ridden out the fire? Right? I mean, it's a weird question, of course, because it seems like nobody has a problem ever evacuating for fire, but hurricanes, it's like, we might roll the dice.
Well, it's one of those things. It's kind of funny. A friend in San Diego, when it was all happening, was like, "Oh, that just sounds horrible. I'd rather have earthquakes." And I thought, my God, man, I'd rather have earthquakes, you know?
Wow.
And I told one friend up in Chicago that I thought it was really prepping for it was similar to prepping for a big blizzard. You know, you get your supplies in the house and make sure your car's full with gas. And she's like, "Oh, my God. People enjoy blizzards. Kids play in the snow." And I was like, yeah, not really. That's not how I remember them, you know. With the ones that happened by our house, we're a lot more comfortable with than the ones that happened by other people's houses.
Ray Lampe joining me here on the show for the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. We do it the first Tuesday of every month here, and we're in October, the last quarter of the year. Ray, it appears from what I was seeing, and I love it when people that are kind of in the cursory of the barbecue world feed me stuff. Like, you know, sometimes I miss stuff. I got to be honest. I'm trying to keep my finger on the pulse of everything, but I miss stuff. But people are always happy to feed me stuff. It appears that you might have been in a dust-up of sorts or a Twitter dust-up with Matt over at Meat Church, who has a huge following. He's got a whole big thing going on, and we'd love to have him on the show to talk about it. But what was your dust-up, and have there been men's made? Are we still on fire? Are we hashtag flaming? Like, what's going on?
Well, I didn't intend to pick a fight with Matt. I started speaking out over the last month or two. I keep seeing pork belly burnt ends on the internet.
All the craze.
And, you know, I know this sounds really, you know,
curmudgeonly.
No, it sounds like, you know, it shouldn't be a big deal to people. But, you know, think of Greg. I spent 35 years of my life being a barbecue historian, studying it, living it, documenting it. I mean, I know this sounds dramatic, but it's true, man. This is what I do. I mean, you know, at 60 years old, I can look, what is my life's work? It's learning the history of barbecue and supporting it and teaching it to people. I mean, it's what I do. So I think pork belly burnt ends is a slap in the face to real burnt ends. I know that sounds crazy, but if you know, a lot of things have been smeared bad. You ever eat a Philly cheesesteak in Philly? I
did one time.
Okay, and then did you ever eat one at a fast food joint? And it wasn't very similar.
No.
And it's just the bastardization of what we do, and it happens over and over. And it's happening right now with the Cuban sandwich. In Tampa, the Cuban sandwich is a huge deal. This is, you know, we claim to have invented it. We fight with Miami about that. Should it have salami on it or not? But it's a big deal here. It's a very particular thing. You go to the Cuban bakery, you get the bread, you know, there's things that go on this sandwich. And now we're seeing the Cubano sandwich everywhere. First of all, nobody in Tampa ever calls it a Cubano, but I guess that's a cooler name if you're just going to talk about it on the internet. And it's just been raped as far as I'm concerned. And I hate seeing that stuff because burnt ends are a thing that is made out of brisket. I can't help that. That's the real history. It's well documented. So I don't like that people, just for the internet's purpose, I mean, this is social media stuff, because are calling it pork belly burnt ends, bacon burnt ends. No, it's not. It's a really good thing. It's probably really good to eat, but it's not a burnt end. And Matt somehow took it personal that I was picking a fight with him. I honestly didn't know he had such ownership of this. And then another guy showed up from Texas that claims to have invented it. I didn't even know about that guy.
What's his name?
Heim Barbecue. I don't know the guy.
Heim.
Yes, I think he's a friend of Matt's, but whatever. It wasn't about those guys. It was about the actual. I really take that stuff seriously, and they all think it's stupid. I got called an old man, and I should say, basically, one reference was he was going to bleach his hair and get a flame shirt and hang out in Florida, cater to the 55 to 64-year-old crowd, and that was why people don't agree with me anymore. And come on, that's a bunch of nonsense, I guess. Seems like it to me, but whatever. No, amends haven't been made. It got, on one end, it got pretty personal. And, calling me an old washed up guy, essentially, is how I read it. And I don't really feel that way, and I don't take that very well.
Do you have, are there other people in the barbecue industry, historians, people with the length of career that you have that also have this type of a disagreement with this pork belly burn ends phenomena?
I haven't actually discussed it with any. I got a feeling if you called a bunch of people in Kansas City, they would think it was really something that's not very cool, because that's where they have burnt ends. There seem to be a lot of Texans that jumped on, and generally don't get burn ends in Texas. They don't take it that personal. So that's kind of how I saw it. Honestly, I was really just kind of goofing around. I mean, I do take it real seriously. I know not everybody else does. I didn't really mean it to get blown up like it did. And frankly, I know better, because do you remember the time when somebody asked, how do you make cook-offs better on the internet? And I said, free weed and hookers would be a really good thing. And all the people that hate me called Big Green Egg and said that I was out there and endorsing that we should be smoking weed and getting prostitutes. So, it's a little different if you're me. Of course, Big Green Egg somehow got drawn into the whole thing, why and how. It had nothing to do with me, but one of the combatants decided to bring Big Green Egg in. Comments about the celebrity asshole and, pictures of me and Guy Fieri, and this explains a lot. And, so unfortunately, I live in a different world, and I know better than to get involved, because that's how it always goes. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody called Big Green Egg and told them that I was being a mean guy on the internet. And I know better, because if you're going to live in my world and actually have real endorsements that pay you money, you have to stay out of stuff like that. And, I know better, and I shouldn't have done it.
Ray, rule number 2 of my show, of course, don't get hooked. Come on, Ray. You've been with the show for like a decade. You know the rules of the show. Yeah. So what we have here basically is there has been a definitive mark in history of burnt ends coming from brisket, beef, and somebody else has decided to take the burnt end moniker and then just apply it to whatever else that they want to do it. If it's cubed and done on a barbecue in some form or fashion, and it might look like a beef burnt end, they're going to call that a pork belly burnt end. Or I think you had a ribs burnt end on a picture over the weekend. I think I saw. I mean, obviously you're kind of throwing it in the face at that point, but
well, what you just said though, Greg, is essentially what I said.
Yeah. That
it's brisket, but it wasn't taken very well. So then I did start poking at it, and some guy in England posted a bowl of watermelon burnt ends, and I declared that my pizza was sausage burnt ends and croûte with fromage. So we were goofing around about it, and there's a pretty good chance that's what set those guys off. I didn't really, it wasn't really meant to be personal, but whatever. But I'm with, I think they're brisket, and I think anything that's not brisket is not a burnt end. And we embarrass ourselves. We bastardize things by just calling it whatever we want, because it's a cute name for Instagram. That's really how I feel about it. We have. I posted something the other day, and again, it wasn't really intended at those guys, but as high-profile culinarians, and I'm one of them, we have a right. We have we should be honorable to this stuff. They all want to, recreate this and take it to the next level, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sure. What? The sad part is, whoever did come up with this idea, it's a really good idea. A cube of pork belly cooked like that with a little barbecue sauce glaze on it, it's a great idea. What it's not is a burnt end. But, why you should take credit for it instead of just trying to somehow bastardize it. You know, you wonder why we have pulled pork at Subway, because we tolerate it. If we all said, hey, that's not pulled pork, it wouldn't be there. And the Philly cheesesteak I referenced, you know, I can go get one at 100 places in this town. Everybody that's serving it, not one of them has been to Philly to actually try it. And I don't like that. I just think that's I take it serious. I take the responsibility of being a culinarian serious.
So it's a burnt end is brisket or pound salt?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Didn't you just say that too? What do you think?
I'm just making sure that we're on record.
Got to weigh in here.
I mean, I've only known burnt ends to be beef, and I think there is. I think you either need to appreciate, because I'm getting the instant chat is saying, well, tomato, what's the big deal? And I think, like you say, if you're a historian and you want to keep certain traditions in this world alive, then you're going to have to be a stickler. Now, if I can be contrarian just for a second, I saw Daniel Vaughn make a post, and he was like promoting what a fajita is. And I think he might have taken like a chicken fajita thing out of one of your cookbooks and said, hey, if you're going to be, you know, all over this beef burnt end, pork belly burnt end, you can't call chicken fajita because it's really made with skirt steak and not chickens. So, I mean, does he have a claim then at that point? I mean, is he, or is he, you know, what's the deal?
He sort of. I mean, I told Daniel I was honored that he wasted his time going through all the stuff I've written to find that that I had misspoke about fajitas, and I asked him if, you know, was it time for us both to meticulously go through everything each other had written to look for mistakes, and then I found that Daniel, actually the guy who claims to have invented the pork belly burnt end, named the pork belly burnt end sandwich after Daniel. So, you know, but I did talk to Daniel after, and that hatchet is buried. But yeah, okay. So here's my defense of that. I'm sorry, the fajita had already been raped long before I got to it. If you actually, somebody showed me some restaurant in Texas that apparently invented the fajita, and they're now serving chicken fajitas. Now, so that's, you know, to me, it's something, but you know, the reality is he's right. We shouldn't accept fajitas. If the real fajita was only to be steak and only to be skirt steak, he's right. Nobody should be making chicken fajitas. That's nonsense. Call it something else. But that cat's out of the bag, man. That one I can't save, but I could try to save the burnt end one. But apparently that didn't go very well. Because like I said, I'm pretty sure I'll get a bunch of nasty. One guy said that I had actually been proven to be a fraud. I don't exactly know what he was referring to. And I was going to respond, and I noticed his 7 followers on Twitter, so I decided to let him slide.
Are you really a nurse, Ray? Is that what it is? I knew it.
I think I got accused of that too. That you know that I'm a fake doctor, and I shouldn't be calling other things fake when I'm a fake doctor. I mean, that's unfortunately, you know, that's what the kind of nonsense I have to put up with. And like I said, I guarantee somebody will call Big Green Egg and any of other people that I work for. And, you know, it's just a shame that I can't act like a normal person and have an opinion about something without getting bashed like that. But
we are,
anyway, boy, I've been through it before. And again, I know better. I just need to shut up and not get involved in this stuff. You know, and if these guys want to bastardize every barbecue term we have, hey, go for it, guys. You know, when there is no such thing as authentic barbecue left, don't blame me.
We are fanning the flames of barbecue drama right here on this show, which I ought to do every once in a while. We're doing it with Ray Lampe. You can find him here the first Tuesday of each and every month. This is October, so the next time we will see Ray will be in November, if you can believe it. Ray, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, good to see you, Greg. Take care.
There he is, Ray Lampe. Doing it live here right on this shive. That's right. Doing it live. And he is on fire over pork belly burnt ends. So, a lot of people weighing in the instant chat room. Tomato. What's he so worked up about? I agree. I think Ray was trying to put me on the spot. I've had said pork belly burnt end. I mean, it was pretty delicious. Hey, Big Papa Smokers, the one-stop online shop for all things barbecue. Their curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies will get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at BigPapaSmokers.com has been Pitmaster approved by Big Papa himself, Sterling Ball. From the award-winning rubs and sauces to the American-made grills and smokers, they got everything you need to be a better outdoor cook. Big Papa's is the proud owner of award-winning Granny's barbecue sauce. Looking to go to a new sauce that will please everyone? Granny's traditional yet powerful flavors remind us of why we fell in love with barbecue in the first place. Find Granny's barbecue sauce and other top-rated sauces at BigPapaSmokers.com. And aside from their premium selection of rubs and sauces, Big Papa offering the very best pellet, charcoal, and wood cookers out there on the market today. For instance, a versatile cooker that's easy to use, the Mac 2-Star General Pellet Grill. Big Papa is allowing Mac to be... No. Big Papa Smokers is the exclusive Mac dealer and even offers special packages that nobody else does. If you're not a fan of the pellet smokers, no problem. Take a look at the old Hickory Ace BP. It's the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts to put on his competition barbecue trailer. If you're a backyard guy or gal looking for a durable and versatile grill that will last forever, the M Grill, like Mike from Texas, is just what you need. They're built like tanks. Not sure what grill you need? You really can't go wrong with any of them. Featured on the BigPapaSmokers.com website. They have something for every kind of backyard cook and every kind of budget. Check out their website and shop their full... You gotta be kidding me. Check out their website and shop their full selection today. It's clear that Big Papa Smokers is the place to go for all things barbecue. Every product featured on their website has been hand-selected to help you barbecue better and more often. Boost your barbecue skills with the help of Big Papa Smokers, the #1 online barbecue store. You can call them directly at 877-828-0727 or shop their website at BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA Smokers, plural.com. Thanks to Sterling Ball and the gang over there at Big Papa Smokers. Jesse, James, all you folks. Thanks for reporting the show. Can't talk in the first hour here, folks. I got to tell you. Thanks for supporting the show. Dave Bosca coming up next. We'll probably talk pork belly burn ends just for the hell of it. Stick around. Be right back.
Ready to get on the air? Call 216-220-0966. Now, let's get back to the LeBron James of barbecue talk. Greg Rempe.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Green Mountain Grills. The best pellet cookers out there on the market today. If you're looking for a big cooker to house a lot of food, they got one for you. Medium size, yes. Small, yes. They got pellets to fire those cookers. I'm telling you what I'm using now is unbelievable. It is the pizza insert made for the big Jim Bowie, also for the medium Daniel Boone. We had another round of pizzas this weekend. I dial mine in at 310 degrees on the cooker, at 620 on the stone. It is so freaking good. Oh my God, so fun to make pizzas. All on your own. Nothing better than that. And they taste delicious. Hey, my next guest is one of the longest running sponsors for this show. And if you look back over the competition scene the past 10 years, one of the more consistent cooks out there this past weekend notched another grand championship in Oklahoma at the Sapulpa contest. I'm sure I'll be corrected on that here in a second. Here to recap that is the pitmaster of the Butcher Barbecue Competition Cooking Team, Dave Bosca, joining me here on the show. Dave, how are you, buddy?
Oh, doing good, Greg. And it is pronounced Sapulpa.
Sapulpa?
Yes.
I never would have got that. Well, I'm glad the resident Oklahomian was able to correct me. So, as always, appreciate your insight there. Dave, let's just cut right to the chase. Certainly great to win any contest, no doubt about it. But this was a little bit different than your normal run-of-the-mill contest for you guys. You kind of had to deal with a cooker issue. So unveil that for us, pull the curtain back, tell us what happened, how you dealt with it, and how you were able to pull off that GC in the end.
Oh, it was kind of half my fault. And we had been given the night before a super secret method of making pellet smokers burn even more efficient. The trick to making a pellet smoker put out good smoke is it's got to burn inefficient. And a mutual friend of mine in Tennessee was telling me about this great all-new method of making it do it. So I opened up the front of the pellet smoker and rewired it. I reconfigured the way it thinks, basically. And in the meantime, I think I shorted out my auger motor. So maybe they all knew. I'm not blaming it on that, but it might have been coincidence, but it was what it is. And Saturday morning, we usually fire off the second FE about 8 o'clock because my chicken goes in at 9. And I fired it off, and I just happened to walk back there about 15 minutes before the chicken goes in, and I just always look down at it to see what the temp is, and it said 88 degrees, and I took a step, and I went, oh, crap, 88 degrees. I knew we had a problem right then, and then you just very quickly, it's just like, I don't know, you can say managing your team, managing whatever, the win method, what's important now, and you take what's the first most important thing is finding a place to put the chicken, and then you look at number 2, 3, and 4 and the importance, and choose what's the second most important, and then you get that taken care of. While 3, 4, and 5 might be reshuffling, it's not as important. And it's just a matter of finding a spot for everything to finish cooking. My overnight cooker that we cook briskets and butts on is up at 280 degrees, and the chicken cooks at 260. So I had to get it lowered down, get the chicken in. Ribs were out on the grill, but an hour in after getting the chicken in, I realized that the briskets, I cook one brisket, the brisket and the 2 pork butts were going to be quite late coming off, which, you change one thing, it can snowball, and you don't know it's changed anything till you go to slice it or cut into it. I got the brisket off about 45 minutes later than normal. The pork butts was about an hour later normal. And you're like, okay, great, it's off. You go on. Your chicken's now in a smoker by itself. The ribs are done. They're sitting and waiting. And I sliced into the pork, and I thought it was fine. Didn't think anything was great. I didn't think it was huge, overly impressive, but it was good. Brisket, the chicken and ribs we thought were real good. The only thing I didn't like about the ribs was I've been having a tendency to have the backs burn out to where the rib bones poke through. Mm-hmm. And okay, so I had that happen. It seems to be par for course for me right now. But we got to the brisket, and the the part that we really like to slice off of, was overdone. And I had to cut, I would say, 1.5 inches beyond where I wanted. Oh. And I started getting the slices right there, started staying together. Sliced on down the flat farther. I got 8 slices. The 9th one felt tough. And I'm like, okay, we're done. We got 8 slices. And I have yet to check for any tenderness or anything other than the knife feel. Uh-huh. So I pull that one. I pull it, and I'm like, well, that feels fine. So I had 7 slices. And then it hits me as I'm putting them in the box. God, I hope one of them don't fall apart. I just messed up my 8th one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen today. And as I put my post, you live by the pellets, you die by the pellets. But, I mean, it turned out good. We got second place at brisket. I mean, we chose the right items, the right pieces of meat to put in, but that's all that we had to put in. There was nothing else salvageable off of that brisket that could have done it. Wow. So, and it's just that. It's just, I don't know. I call it pit mastering, the win method, what's important now, and that's exactly what it is. The more circumstances you've been in, the more you know what to do. So that's all we did. We just did what we did. We just kept ourselves over there, and I kept concentrating and watching and touching and feeling and temperature probing. And, I don't get out on Saturday mornings and walk around a whole lot anyway because we're concentrating on our cook. And this time it was even that much more concentration. And the real good thing, I mean, it was about an hour from our house, from where we live, is where the contest was, and about an hour and a half before turn-in, my mom and dad showed up. So kind of made it real good. I mean, kind of cut the stress there at the last. Mom shows up, dad shows up. So it was really nice. I enjoyed the day sitting there. Yeah.
Dave Bouska joining me here on the show. Is this something that has happened to you before where you've lost a complete separate cooker? I mean, I know you run with 2 or 2+, depending on, what other grill you got tagging along, but in the cooker unit itself, you got a pair of FE. Have you lost an auger before, or is one not fired up and you've had to make do with, 1 or 2?
Oh, it seems about like maybe 5 years ago I had problems with one. But I would have to really think about it. I know normally I don't have problems with them. You just maintenance them. They're just like anything else. You take care of it, keep it clean, keep the fire pot cleaned out when you're done. Everything works just fine. I had one smoker. It was probably 2 years into our cooking, 3 years into our cooking. About 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, it'd always just go out. And it ended up being wiring. As it warmed up, the wiring would literally it was just barely touching it. It'd come apart, and it took forever to find that problem. But, that's just nature of the beast. But no, normally, no, I don't have problems with the product.
Yeah, and FEs, have been stalwarts in the competition world for years and years and years, of course. From a results standpoint, Dave, as you had mentioned, really super consistent cook. Chicken 3rd place, ribs 3rd place. Pork was 6. You didn't seem to be over happy with your pork anyway, as we were just talking. Brisket 2nd place, because you said you got it right where it needed to be and you had just enough slices. So all in all, every pitmaster always tells me you want to be consistent. You want to get walks in those specific categories. You were, except for the pork, top 3 or better. So you had to be feeling pretty good in overalls that you might have had this one in the bag.
No, I never feel confident about that. There's so many great cooks out there, and fortunately and unfortunately, all in the same moat. This was a smaller contest. There was a whole lot of local type cooks there, not as many as what we follow the Oklahoma tour. We know all of us. We call ourselves barbecue gypsies. We just set up our tents and our camps, and we do what we do on the weekend, and we tear them down and go to the next town the next weekend and do it all over again. But you see these cooks once a year, twice a year. You really don't know about them, and generally they're great cooks. Those folks don't know how to put 4 meats together, but but on occasion, they'll have the best cook of their life, and you don't know them enough to know if they did or didn't. But man, don't ever underestimate the local cooks at these contests, because they'll be the ones that'll come up and kick your butt. Simply, some of them may be category killers. All they can do is chicken or ribs, the short cooks. Some of them can only do the long cooks. But you'll find the one guy that practices hard all year long just for his hometown cook-off, and he's going to put all 4 together, and you're going to walk away going, who is this? It doesn't matter. He just kicked your butt. Those are the ones you got to be careful of, not the guys we see every week, because we'll usually meet up after brisket and chit-chat and talk. Oh, how was your cook? How did you cook? Well, that guy's off over cleaning his stuff going, my God, I just did it. So I never expect nothing, ever. I'm probably my hardest critic when I'm judging our own food. So no, I'm not going to say that I expected it. We have been consistent. I've been slightly tweaking my final recipes on each thing, getting ready for the jack, because, through the year we cook what we cook. I hurt my back again this year, and I took some time off and slowly got back in it. And after getting the jack draw, I was like, what I'm cooking will not do any good out there. I know. I've been 5 times. It won't make it. I'm not going to go that far with the recipes we're cooking.
Yeah.
And 3 of the last 4 contests, I've been over 700 in the overall. So I feel like I'm getting a lot more consistent in what I want to take out there. Whether it's going to flow over to next year, I rather doubt it. I'll forget something, and it'll take me half the year to remember what the hell I used to do. But right now, I'm very happy with what we're turning in. I've only got 1 more contest before the jack. We've been test cooking chicken breast and been working with that a whole lot, probably more than I've been doing anything else. I've been working on that and the brisket. So the chicken's probably my biggest thing right now. but we've been just slowly tweaking, and I've been very, very happy with our overall results since the American Royal Open.
Dave Bosca joining me here on the show, butcherbbq.com, of course, longtime sponsor of this show, and one of the more consistent cooks ever since he's been on board with the show, by the way. GC is taken with a 709 and high change, by the way, David. Is this your highest scored date or no?
I'll have to look 2 weeks ago. We had a 709 and something in Ponca City 2 weeks ago. I don't know what the change was there, but it's going to be right at one of the highest ones we've had. Yeah.
Are you surprised at how high some of the scores you have seen this year compared to years past? We've seen a bunch of 710s. We've seen 712 in some cases. Significantly high scores.
No, I think these guys are cooking that good of food.
Mm-hmm.
I really, truly do. I've not had the opportunity to taste much of it. We don't taste a lot of other people's food because, in all honesty, it probably pissed me off that they're cooking that good, and I wasn't. But these guys are cooking great food. The ones out there generally in the top 10 that are getting those scores, no, my hat's off to them. Local team here, Scott Key with Little Pigtown,
mm-hmm.
we battled head-to-head for many years, and, a 690, 692 would win it.
Yep.
If you had a 694, you was just about guaranteed. We're still cooking 690 food, and these guys and gals have stepped up and are doing 699, 705s all day long, just like we were then. And that's what Scott and I talked about. It's not that what we're doing is worse than what we did, but we're doing the exact same thing, and that's what we're getting, is the exact same results. So I think the judging isn't far off. I don't think it's gotten stupid. I think there's a lot more nines given out, but I'm also saying I think it's deserving. I think these guys are cooking that good of food. They've definitely got the better product coming in. 10 years ago, we couldn't mail order meat. Now that's the norm. You were subject to what you could find the weekend before at your, when you ran to the city and shop.
Yep.
Now these guys are hand-picking through cases, and so I think it's awesome, man. I think it is good for the sport. I think it's great for barbecue. I really get disheartened when I see people get on the Facebooks and start barking about the judging or that or this. Oh, give it 6 months, and you'll be back up on the high horse, and you'll forget about those judging because it's happening to someone else. That's my philosophy is you got to learn to win and lose. It's a big spoke, and I guarantee you we'll all roll underneath the wheel every now and then. This may be over for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Whatever little flavor profile that I'm doing that these guys are liking, everybody else might find it and become the norm, and I'll just be another normal 690 guy again. That's all. I mean, it don't take much. Just very little bit.
Dave, from a business perspective, we like to talk about dealer growth. I know I mentioned it in the read that we do each and every week. Are you increasing dealers each and every week? Are you finding that people that maybe you didn't even have a target for are calling to start stocking your stuff? How does becoming a dealer with Butcher Barbecue work, and how easy is it?
About 2 to 3 years ago, we were getting more and more barbecue teams wanting to carry the product and sell it on site. We don't do any of that. We've never really tried to bring that on. We work with just brick and mortars. I've even quit bringing on just online store companies only. But yes, it is getting larger and larger and larger. We're getting independent grocers calling us. Seems about like every day or every other day, I get a request for that type. Emails are coming in all the time, and overseas is growing huge. I just recently had taken back over the distributorship for Australia. I worked with a company over there. We've parted ways. They're still going to be a retailer, but I've taken it back over. And just in the last 2 weeks, I've brought on 6 new retail stores in Australia.
Wow.
So it's just going to take a little time to get that product over to them. Some of it, I think, is landing this week. Some of it's landing next week. We've got a couple pallets going out to another company over there, I think, next week. So it'll take a couple weeks to get to them. But it's growing, and it's growing large. I'm no longer doing the shipping for myself. Back in late June, 1st of July, I was switching over and I went to a fulfillment center. I've let another company take on my daily orders and my wholesale orders. I'm working on running my business is what I'm trying to do. 2 years ago, this last August, I shut down the meat processing plant.
Yep.
After my son left and he's opened the restaurant, I knew I couldn't physically do that anymore myself. And so I wanted to concentrate on this business. Well, it's gotten to the point to where I can't sit for 4 and 5 and 6 hours and just fill boxes and still run my business. So I've turned that over. We've worked an agreement with another company. They're doing that for me. And I'm now concentrating on just the business alone. So, yes, I love stores. That's my sales. And I'm a firm believer in the Walmart method. Those stores can touch more people than I can myself. I want to work and grow their business. So I'm working on, every time I talk to a store, that's what I do. I work with them. What can I do for you? How can I help your business? Those basic questions, and I know I'm on a tangent, but I've had to learn to be the salesman, not be the retailer, because I've been in the retail side so long.
Yeah.
I've had to learn to be the salesman to the retailer, and that took a little bit. I work with a group that sells to about 200 hardware stores, and I took my tools to them, and they're like, "Well, we don't need that. We need tools for our salesmen to sell with." Wow, man, yeah, you're right. I'm bringing to you what I expected. Well, I need to teach the salesman to go teach the stores.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a learning curve on me in the last 2 years, but we're getting there, and I hope we're getting there right.
And if you're interested in buying, you go to butcherbbq.com right now. And if you got brick and mortar stores, you can hit up becoming a dealer over on that website as well. Notching the win over in Sapulpa, Oklahoma. It's Dave Bosca. Dave, really appreciate the time as always and the support of the show most of all. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you letting us come on.
You got it. It's Dave Bosca right there, folks. That's right. Winning.
You can get in touch with the show by the Barbecue Central Show.
Winning again.
Via the Smithfield Hotline.
Winning again. All right, real quick before we get to the top of the second hour. Quickly, I'll talk to you about the Barbecue Guru. If you're looking to turn up the heat on your barbecue skills this summer, you're going to need to get your hands on the most advanced ceramic cooker and high-tech barbecue accessory to hit the market. I'm talking about the Monolith Barbecue Guru Edition and CyberCube Cloud Controller. Just launched by the Barbecue Guru earlier this summer, the world's first temperature-controlled ceramic smoker and grill with a built-in power draft fan. It's going to give you the easiest, most successful barbecue experience. These must-have new products will make barbecuing easier than ever before and will be your new secret weapon for cooking delicious barbecue each and every time. Ready to buy? Yeah. Head on over to bbqguru.com and grab them up or call 800-288-GURU. Visit the website again, bbqguru.com. The Barbecue Guru continues to be a breakthrough in barbecue technology. We're back to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by CookingPellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. Visit CookingPellets.com to purchase. You can also buy from Amazon.com. Look at their store locator on their website. You can find out there might be a dealer right by you. That's CookingPellets.com. Thanks again to Dave Bosca for joining me last segment, talking about the big win in Sapulpa. John Dawson weighing in. Remps, I completely agree with Ray's take on pork belly burn ends, but tongue-in-cheek, I wonder if he feels that Chicago deep dish pizza is a bastardization of real pizza. Actually, John, I think I might be able to answer this for Ray. Real Chicago people don't even eat it. I don't even know if it classifies as pizza. It's a big pie. All right, we're back to hit the second hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is Chad Hayden with Moonshiner Barbecue's 19th Annual Jack Daniel's World Barbecue Champion, and this is Barbecue Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to. Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbonneau! It's all about the Charbonneau, dude!
Succulent fish! What?
He ate 2 feet for wieners.
Oh, listen, Liberty, it's a shit feast.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, we're into the second hour. Welcome aboard. This is the Barbecue Central Show, and we talk about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling right here for 2 hours. Don't forget you can subscribe to the show if you're listening to the show other than Tuesday. Hey, you already subscribed to the show. Congratulations. Tell everybody that they need to subscribe to the show. You can hit up my personal Facebook page if we're friends. I'll try and remember to share it to the show page and read about my new article in La Gazzetta. It's an Italian publication. I don't know if you knew it or not, but I am Sicilian. That's right. Not Italian. I'm Sicilian. Thank you. So if you miss a segment, for instance, if you missed the first hour, and if you don't subscribe to the show, you're just coming in live now, go to iTunes, go to Google Music, go to any podcast directory, put in Barbecue Central Show, and you subscribe there. Or you can just go to thebbqcentralshow.com/subscribe, and it will give you ways you can subscribe. Maybe you didn't even know about it. You can subscribe to this show through email. Every week on Wednesday, I think, it will email you the latest edition of the Barbecue Central Show if you missed it on Tuesday. How easy is that? It'll tell you where to get it on Google. It'll tell you where to get it on the iPod, iPad, iPhone, everything. Bunch of different ways. Great stuff. Don't forget, still to come on this show, Deuce Raymond at 10:14. Justin McGlaughlin at 10:35 talking about the impending National Pro Barbecue Tour's finale in Bentonville, Arkansas, coming up this weekend. Hey, speaking of that, don't forget that the National Pro Barbecue Tour is wrapping up this coming weekend in Bentonville, Arkansas. The top 50 teams are now set and will be making a bid for Grand Champion. We will see how it shakes out. I'll be looking for the winner next Tuesday to recap the event, of course. Of course, that's a meathead week, so it's going to have to be in the second hour, but I want to make sure that I get a winner. So if you're listening to the show and you're competing in the finals and you win it, please don't book anything in the 10 o'clock hour next Tuesday. I will want to talk to you. I will want to give you promotion. I want to be like the World Food Championships of the barbecue talk show. I want to promote you. I want to make you famous right here on this show where you get thousands of downloads. You realize inside of a week, the show gets 2,000 downloads just on the iTunes alone? Probably that or double or more on the Facebook views. Come on. The show is blowing up like crazy town. I do want to thank the National Pro Barbecue Tour for another year of successful partnership here with the Barbecue Central Show. And the series continues to grow in popularity each year. And I'll be interested, supremely interested, to see what happens with it next year. Mike McLeod has been on the show and said that it is already guaranteed for 2018. However, I'm wondering, because MMA Creative will no longer be the only marketing division that KCBS will have. Mike McLeod is fostering the Sam's Club series next year, or he's the agent, or he's, I don't know what the correct term is. I don't want to say babysitting, but he's going to be part of it. Okay? And who knows what's going to happen at the end of like a year from now? what's going to happen to the Sam's Club Series or the National Pro Barbecue Tour, whatever you're going to call it at that point. Is that something that Sam's is going to put out on its own? Are they going to come up with their own sanctioning? Will they find another sanctioning body? Does it need to be sanctioned? They can make up their own rules. Will it all go away? Will a 6 or 7 year run be culminated next year in 2018, only to never see that series again in any form or fashion? I wonder. I'll ask you right now in the instant chat, if you're listening on podcast and you take part in the event, what do you think the National Pro Barbecue Tour is going to look like in 2 years? Again, next year already guaranteed, locked in. 2019, there's no lock-in that I'm aware of. If anybody from the KCBS is listening right now and they have inside information they want to share along with me, I'm more than happy to take breaking news here in a second, although KCBS has kind of turned a deaf ear to me as of recent. I have put in a number of email requests to have somebody on to talk about the status of KCBS, of course, the split with MMA and why they thought that was a good idea and what they're doing now, and well, crickets, as it were. But I'll continue to effort somebody to come on. We'll see how it goes. Where is this? Last week, sorry, let me do this.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
Last week, I told you about a pair of women that got into a skirmish out there in the Toledo, Ohio area where one woman became so incensed in the argument that she threw a hot grill on top of another lady. She was arrested and charged. Well, we now have a follow-up story thanks to my embedded Toledo correspondent. He doesn't know that. Kevin Plawecki. Thank you, Kevin. We now, as Paul Harvey would say, have the rest of the story. A Toledo woman who threw her hot charcoal grill at her friend. For those of you on podcast, I'm using air quotes because if you're my friend and we're in a disagreement, like for instance, you've seen my buddy Desmond come over here every once in a while. Do you think if we ever got in a disagreement and there was a lit grill, I would pick it up and throw it on him? I'm also 100% confident in saying that if Desmond and I got into an argument and there was his lit grill, that he would not pick it up and throw it at me. I'm very confident in both assertions. Anyway, a Toledo woman who threw a hot charcoal grill on her friend during an argument was sentenced this past Wednesday to 2 years in prison. Tanya Craig, 32, of the 700th block of North Erie Street, entered an Alford plea not admitting guilt and was found guilty September 5th of attempted felonious assault for the May 29th attack on Sharita Crumby. Lucas County Common Pleas Judge Linda Jennings cited Craig's lengthy history of assaultive behavior and criminal convictions in sentencing her to prison. And, quote, when this offense occurred, you were engaged in a heated argument, the judge said. She continues, you began punching the victim in the face and head, and then you picked up a charcoal grill and dumped hot coals on her, which caused second-degree burns about her head, chest, neck, and thigh. Craig told the court she took full responsibility for her actions, but she denied throwing the grill on Miss Crumby. Well, where did the burns come from? Where did the burns come from? I have to imagine that while people will make up anything in order to cast doubt or cast themselves in a better light, especially when the police show up after there's been an assault or altercation, when malfeasance is afoot, you lie. However, rarely do people say in a lie, that person picked up a lit grill and threw it on me. How else are you going to get burned? Unless you're inside and you're holding her over the stove. By the way, that's no better.
Get that free stuff out of here.
Judge, Sharita Crumby is exaggerating. I didn't throw a charcoal grill at her. We were actually inside, and I lit the stove, and I just held her face over it. Way better. Oh, case dismissed. That's the gavel. Case dismissed, folks. Case dismissed. People don't lie when charcoal grills get thrown on them. All right, let me troll through the instant chat here. Bill Dietz is the man behind Sam's that signed off from Sam's. He lost his job this year, so no one knows if it's going to be on for 2018. They usually announce at the finals. Well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, sorry, I got this distracted. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the 2018 is a guarantee, but further is up for debate. I've also tapped some sources, but I do have it on tape somewhere in one of Mike McLeod's recent chats that the 2018 Sam's Club is definitely in. Jason King weighing in as far as me contacting KCBS. Try writing a letter on a typewriter and mail it to KCBS. Email is too much of a change for them. Thank you. Matt Boer, Jason, they only take full press set letters. One-upping. Good job, boys. All right, let me talk to you quickly about the Pit Barrel Cooker. We all love the Pit Barrel Cooker. New custom grill covers coming in. New bottle openers coming in as well. Now, I did visit the website, but maybe I didn't pay particular attention. I thought the bottle opener was to mount somewhere in your outdoor living and entertainment area. Mine is going to go on one of the fence posts, or it might go underneath the handrail as you leave my house to go out onto the newly extended patio. But I've got some social media suggesting that the bottle opener go onto the Pit Barrel Cooker itself. Woo! That would require drilling into my Pit Barrel Cooker. I've done that once. That is the last time I will be doing that. If that's what it's meant for, and you are comfortable drilling into your pit barrel, by all means, have at it. Use a unibit or a step-down bit or whatever they call it. I don't know what the hell they call it. I'm not handy. In any event, I can tell you this. Aside from the really cool-looking pit barrel cover, which is still very tight at the bottom, so holds that moisture out, gives it a whole new look from the outside. Really cool, big branding. It's not just that black cover. It shouts Pit Barrel Cooker. You have now a cooker for $299, folks. $299 shipped to you, right to your door, for free, fully functional, ready to cook on right off the bat, and capacity is second to none. For a $300 cooker, at one point you can cook up to 8 racks of ribs. You can hang everything with multiple different, I think it comes with 8 hooks on its own. You can also get a turkey hanger. The Pit Barrel is widely known as one of the best turkey cookers out there in the industry today. If you like using lump charcoal, they prefer it. I'm sorry, if you like using briquette charcoal, they prefer that you use that. But I've used it with lump with great success. Make that one vent adjustment in the very beginning, depending on where you're at sea level. Mine's like that crescent moon. Assemble it, put the top on, you're off and running. No worry about it's getting too low, it's getting too high, it settles right in. And again, the capacity is super great. Hit the website, pitbarrelcooker.com. Again, that's pitbarrelcooker.com. They'll answer all your questions there. A lot of great how-to videos. Buy one for you, buy one for your new neighbor. Friend for life. Deuce Raymond coming up out of the break. Stick around, we'll be right back.
The only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. A man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible. Bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Folks, this summer, Smithfield has partnered with the Ultimate Names in Grilling to bring you amazing prizes. All you have to do is get grilling. What does that mean? Well, grill, share, score. SmithfieldGetGrilling.com. They have a directive or a theme. Make sure that you check that theme out. And then, for instance, a month or so ago, it was grill it like a steak. So you take some pork, grill it like a steak, take a video, share it to Smithfield Get Grilling. You could win almost $5,000 if you want. About that. All right, my first guest in the second hour has some real barbecue heritage behind him with the last name Raymond and a brand of Sweet Baby Ray's in the family. It seems only natural that he would be involved in this industry to some degree. But how did he get here? And what did he do to carve his own path into the barbecue world? Well, let's forget about just wondering and let's get to the asking. We go to the hotline and welcome first-timer to the show, Deuce Raymond. Deuce, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Greg, how are you, man? We're doing awesome.
Doing
I got actual Sweet Baby Ray with me here.
Oh, my God. Legend, Dave Raymond. Are you kidding me? Look at this. For everybody, here we go. There's Sweet Baby Ray. There's Deuce Raymond. I'm completely caught off guard here and a little bit starstruck. I got to be honest here, guys. So forgive my befuddling of words. I'm usually quite the wordsmith, but Deuce, is Deuce the real name, or is that a nickname that you're running with? I mean, I don't know anybody else named Deuce.
So my actual name is Lawrence Paul Raymond II, and right after I was born, one of my uncle's friends gave me the nickname Deuce, and way better than Little Larry or, God forbid, Junior. So much happy with the nickname Deuce.
I was going to say, like, especially for the kids these days are always talking about, like, chucking deuces and this and that. All you have to do is, like, stand up and go, me, and then leave the room, and that's it, right? No doubt.
That's right. But it works really well, and it's a great barbecue name, so I'm sticking with it.
All right, Deuce, so I'm going to move off of you just for a second and go to Dave Raymond. Dave, I can't believe you're here. I really appreciate you making time as well. And, man, what a story you have. A little sauce called Sweet Baby Ray's. And I know it's something we possibly can't really dig into encompassing the whole segment here, but can you give me a little background about Sweet Baby Ray's and the sauce and how you kind of brought what I'm imagining was a sauce in your brain and maybe shared around the house and the neighborhood all the way to everybody knows about Sweet Baby Ray's, right?
You kind of missed it by a mile.
Okay, good.
So back in 1982, I was a buyer for a pharmacy to fill prescriptions for nursing homes. Salesman come in and said he made good ribs. I said, no, I made good ribs. He came back 3 days later with a column, with a newspaper column from a guy named Mike Wyko, a syndicated columnist who's since passed away, who said he made good ribs and didn't understand why black people got all the credits for it. He was besieged with letters and phone calls. That's what begat the first Mike Wyko rib contest. Salesman comes back and says to me, hey, let's get in this rib contest. Having never done anything like that before, I said, sure. Salesman leaves. I get on the phone to Deuce's dad, my brother Larry, who's a chef by training, and said, I want to get into a rib contest. I need the barbecue sauce. He talked to the 7 best guys in the business he knew to get their ideas what would constitute a good barbecue sauce, and along with his own ideas specific.
Are you freaking kidding me? What? No way. It's like we just dropped. Hold on. I'm going right back there. He was in rhythm too, man. Oh. Beauty of the internet, right? Unbelievable. Uh-oh. Now we got the spinner up. Spinner never. Oh, all right. Boys, you there?
Hey.
All right. Sorry about that. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but Dave, you were on quite a tear there, so go ahead and pick back up.
He gets on a tear sometimes, that's for sure.
Love it.
So, as much as I recall where I left off, I committed to getting into the barbecue sauce contest. I talked to my brother Larry, Deuce's dad, who's a chef by training. He talked to 7 chefs, got their ideas, what constitutes a good sauce, and then specifically made the sauce with the name Sweet Baby Ray, a nickname I had growing up on the west side of Chicago. The black guys called my brother Ray. They call me Baby Ray. I've managed to narrow the gap a little bit as the years have gone by. And for my baseline jump shot, that's Sweet Baby Ray. So the sauce was actually created for the name, and we wound up winning second place out of 700 contestants, and that's how I got started.
So from getting it started to getting it to where you ended up selling it to the Ken's side of the business, what kind of a progress do you have to take, or do you realize you have something in the midst? I mean, you take second place in a sauce contest, that's great, but do you realize you have something in your midst that is going to be even bigger than you might even imagine just for this barbecue contest?
Didn't have a clue. I mean, I and we and all the people surrounded with Sweet Baby Ray's most certainly feel blessed, and God had to be having his hand on my shoulder the whole time, because who would come? I was no expert on barbecue. My brother was no expert on barbecue. Everybody who knows barbecue knows how regional it is, in particular the sauces. So for Sweet Baby Ray to climb the heights that it has, I'm sure nobody could predict it. We started Sweet Baby Ray's with $2,000, barely a high school education and a dream, and we grew it to $33 million. My last year, I think we sold 1,200,000 cases of barbecue sauce. Wow. As I sit here now, it's a $560 million brand, the best-selling sauce in the history of retail, and a 40.2 share nationally, and 14 of the top 16 sizes and flavors are Sweet Baby Ray's.
Dave, one last comment here, and I'll switch back over to Deuce here, and I don't want to think I'm not talking to you, Deuce, but I have a legend in the midst, so of course I got to get all the time. Right?
When he said he was going to come,
no
so
doubt.
That's okay.
Dave, there's a lot of mass market sauce that has been out for a long time. You have Casey Masterpieces, you have Open Pits. I mean, the list goes on. My opinion, there is a lot of crap that is out there when it comes to the mass market. There's a lot of liquid smoke. There's a lot of that same old smell, olfactory, and taste stuff that's really hard to differentiate if you had them in just plastic cup. Are you? I'm getting ready to go through the roof.
Get that big stuff out of here.
We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Oh my God, I'm glad you didn't look at me there, buddy, because I am getting ready to launch into the stratosphere. Man, oh man. I mean, it couldn't be going any worse, is what I'm saying here, Fun. Could be good. Hey, let's have a barbecue legend on and not be able to keep an internet connection. Let's make a great first impression. Good job, Barbecue Central. I'm glad we're doing it. Very good, very good. Dave, what I'm trying to get to in a long-winded way is somehow Sweet Baby Ray's has averted whatever that standard recipe was, and I like it. I am a sauce snob. I love my sauce first. I make it. It obviously fits my flavor profile because I'm making it. But if I'm having a big party or I know people are going to be offended by my sauce, I go to the store and I buy a big bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's, and nobody ever complains about it. Are you surprised that it has been so beloved and accepted? I don't know anybody that goes, I don't really like it. I know a lot of people that'll mention other name brands and say that, but not Sweet Baby Ray's. Everybody seems to love it.
It has a broad-based appeal for sure in the grilling world and the backyard barbecue world. It's accessible, it's affordable, it's sweet, and it's thick. And if you ask me as a barbecue expert what's wrong with the product, I would say too sweet, too thick. The exact same thing people love about it. That it's a great way to cover up your mistakes. If you're burning something on the grill, don't go Ramo with Sweet Baby Ray's. If you have no flavor profile, Sweet Baby Ray's. It helps make barbecuing and grilling easier for people. Mm-hmm. And as you get further along, like my nephew has, he's taking that flavor profile and then added what he's learned in his 4-year culinary degree, with his 4-year culinary degree, with 12 years of being in the barbecue and catering restaurant and catering business, 10 years of having a competition team. So now his product is that's artesian and craft, where he's taken what he's known. He hasn't started from the same humble beginnings that his dad and I did, and we couldn't be more proud of him.
All right, Deuce, so let's go ahead and transition over to you here. You know, a lot of different ways that we can go. I mean, you look back and your dad, your uncle obviously have seen a lot of success within this industry. Your dad, a chef, so you're in the culinary industry, or you see the culinary industry as a kid, and you kind of see how your dad is living that lifestyle. Of course, then you have your uncle who has great success with his barbecue sauce. So you're either going to follow in those footsteps, or you're going to diverge completely away from that, as most youths do. But you do decide to go ahead and go to culinary school and get that degree, and you're also making and doing very successfully into the barbecue world. Were you worried that there was too much of a shadow both on the barbecue side and both from a chef side, that it was going to be hard to... Mother of pearl!
Get that big stuff out of here.
Wow. Wowee. I'm not placing blame, but I don't know if it can be me. I'm not even getting any indication that our signal is bad. I think I'm good. Sorry about that, Deuce. Not sure what's happening here. Were you worried that there was too much of a shadow, or are you the competitive guy that's like, hey, no matter the shadow's height, length, and width, I'm going to overcome and make my own?
Yeah, you know, I never really thought about it like I was competing with my dad or my uncle or anything. But when I was in culinary school, we would have these little competitions in class, and I was always the one that took it the most seriously. I was running around like crazy, making sure everything was perfect and trying my hardest. Some of these guys were just going through the motions and like knowing that this isn't really going to affect their grade or anything like that. And I really was trying hard. And when I found competition barbecue, it was like love at first sight. Like, I love competing and I put my heart into it. I really try hard to find the best products. I take my craft very, very seriously. I sharpen my knives. I make sure everything's set in the trailer. I make all my spice rubs and my sauces, of course. And, that's when I'm at my happiest, is when I'm doing competition, especially if we get a couple calls.
Are you specifically a particular sanctioning body? Do you compete in all of them? What's your style?
We are KCBS. Well, I've done a couple Memphis-style competitions, but 99% KCBS. And I want to make sure I get some show karma. We're doing our last competition of the year on Friday and Saturday this weekend. So I was super pumped when you said we could talk this week. I'm so excited about that.
Well, I guess you know what that means. You're just going to go out and win.
Yeah.
Chuck, I don't even know if you need to show up, Deuce. I think you can just mail it in. You get that GC, no doubt about it. So you're doing catering, you have restaurants, you have sauces. Is the juggling act fine-tuned over time and there's a lot of bumps and bruises in that learning curve, or were you able to master it pretty well because you had some of the background, seeing what your dad did and you know what your uncle's done and you have your own training?
There's lots of bumps and bruises along the way. And, the way that we went about it, we never got one thing down perfect before we started growing again. We had one restaurant in 2005. In 2007, we opened a second restaurant. In 2008, we purchased another catering company that does more high-end stuff. That's True Cuisine. And then last year, we bought an event planning company, and there's never been any slowdown. And all within this myth is getting married, having 3 kids, starting developing my own sauces. We're really just starting to get into that. So,
did you mention the financial crisis?
And really what I'm trying to do now is do less, do what I do and do it the best I can possible, and try to focus on just catering and the Deuce's Wild brand. It's not realistic that it can just happen overnight, but that's going to be my focus.
Well, folks, I'm going to go jump in my car, race to the 480 bridge, and jump off right now, because that's like the 4th time that we've dropped this call. I'm having one of the it's like the dichotomy that is going on in this segment right now is both one of the most magnificent surprises of this whole show's career in 10, 11 years of doing the show. Having Sweet Baby Ray show up out of nowhere and can't keep an internet effing connection to save my life. It is both the most exhilarating and embarrassing thing that has happened in the show's history. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you, Browns fans aren't more ready to jump off the 480 bridge than I am. And they've only won one game in like 7 years. So, dude, sorry about that. Any idea what's happening?
You know, I don't know. And on our screen, it's every 3 minutes. And I don't know if that's something on my end. I don't use this Skype hookup all the time. So
I think it's
on my end or not. I couldn't tell you.
We're being hacked by ISIS. They don't want this to happen. I believe
that's true.
I knew they were going to try and poke their nose into this. So you have 3 daughters just like me, so I'm living that same kind of nightmare that you are. So congratulations. Welcome to the club. Not sure how old yours are, but it only gets more fun as they get older.
Yes.
As far as the sauce is concerned, and I don't want to ask another repeat question as far as shadows and stuff, but my mindset is this, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, getting into the sauce business probably was a little bit more not worthwhile, but it seems like the point of entry would have been a little bit easier. You went into the grocery store, you didn't see nearly as many sauces. You go into the grocery store now, there's aisle or 2 of sauces and rubs. There's a lot of quote unquote noise out there. So you have the Sweet Baby Ray's situation all on its own, holding that off into the vacuum, but then to come out with your own brand and get above the noise that's out there, how are you positioning yourself in the market to stand out in order to achieve that success?
Well, it's going to be a challenge for sure, and we are just getting started. I'm still working with our co-packer to perfect the recipes, and we're just getting our website done and everything. So it's really going to be like a mid-2018 rollout when everything is going to be full-blown. And we're going to use the power of the internet and social media and use Amazon and those type of tactics. Dave has a ton of retail knowledge. He's probably the most knowledgeable person about selling barbecue sauce retail that there is.
Yeah.
And so we're going to use that in combination with some new techniques, like I said, social media and marketing online and things like that. But we have great success with the sauce already, just in some competitions we've done at MBBQA, and we're getting great feedback. We're winning with it, and I use it in competition, and we're getting great calls this year. So it's going to be a long, slow road. I know that, but I think we have a good plan. And like you said, there's a ton of great products out there now. People have a higher expectation. They want to see real ingredients. They don't want all the additives and things like that. So, we're just going to take it one step at a time.
Is there a website for the sauce that is already rolled out, or is that on reserve until the full launch?
It's DeucesWildBBQ.com, but it's...
I knew it. Every 3 minutes. That seems like how often I want to throw up. I'm just trying to get to the end now because I'm ready to just go post. DeucesWildBBQ.com?
DeucesWild-BBQ.com, but it's just a splash page right now, so you can't really see anything on it. But you can check me out on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm making all the sauces in the catering building right now. We're labeling everything, doing it, and I'm sending it to a few people. There's a few stores locally that carry it and things like that, but it's very, very small right now. We're waiting until we have all our ducks in the row to really launch the brand. So
we're talking with Deuce Raymond and Sweet Baby Ray himself, Dave Raymond. Guys, really appreciate the time this evening. You probably don't know it, but I'm going to have each one of you separately in your own segments here coming up because, Dave, we can talk about 100 different things as far as sauce and business. And Deuce, obviously, I want to keep track of how everything's rolling out with you and talk to you a little bit more in depth on your brand and what you're doing with it. But tonight, unbelievable surprise. I am completely humbled, and thank you so much for showing up here, Dave, to do it. And Deuce, great to meet you. And as I had said, this weekend, it's on me, Grand Championship, no problem. Just let me know how much you win. I'm due back 10%, the normal chip-off rate for Show Karma, but no problem. Guys, really appreciate the time tonight. Thanks so much for doing it.
Thanks, Grant. Thank you.
You got it. There they are. Holy moly, that was famous, Dave.
All guests on the Barbecue Central show appear via the Smithfield Hotline.
Wow.
Yummy.
Sweet baby Ray was on the show right then. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just when I think this show can't surprise me, it shows up in unbelievable fashion. Justin McLaughlin joining me here in just a few minutes. Hey, I want to talk to you about the Chops Power Injector System, the 2015, 16, 17 Barbecue Tool of the Year from NBBQA. They got 3 different sizes, as I've told you about each and every week here for the last number of years. They have a half-gallon size. They have a 1-gallon size. Both of these are coming with a whole bunch of really cool items to make your Chops Power Injector System experience really good. One's $100, that's the half-gallon. One's $120, that's the 1-gallon. So how do you differentiate between the two? Well, the half-gallon's going to be good for the backyard warrior like me if you've never used a multi-port injector. This one's under pressure, kind of like those insect sprayers. Pump it up. You can do 10 butts inside of 3 or 4 minutes. Unbelievable. Then you have the 1-gallon. So maybe you're a caterer, or you're going to do Memphis in May. Who knows? This one gives you double the amount of fluid. Now we're talking about the Chops Full Power Injector System. This one's electric. It's different than the other two. It's got a 3.5-foot pickup tube, so you can put it in 25 or 30 ounces of solution, or you can put it in a 55-gallon drum. Doesn't matter. Chef Rob, who I believe is the pitmaster over at Q39, but no names, please, speculation, has said that it makes his barbecue better than ever. His briskets especially. That one's $325. You pay the shipping for all of these. Here's the deal. We live in a foodie world. You got to have flavor in every bite. The Chops Power Injector System delivers it really quickly and efficiently. Every injector hand-assembled in Kansas City, Missouri, USA. If you want extra accessories, you got them. You want them, they got them. Easy. You visit the website, barbecuekansascity.com, BARBEQUE, barbecuekansascity.com. And then you check out their website. If you have any questions, get in touch with Dan Uladal. He'll hook you up. No problem. You'll wonder how you ever injected with a 1 syringe. Trust me. Buy it and love it. We're back with Justin McLaughlin to look ahead to the National Pro Barbecue Tour Finals this coming weekend. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, recovering from last segment. This one's brought to you by the National Pro Barbecue Tour, presented by Sam's Club. We culminate 31 cities, $500,000 in cash for eternal bragging rights this coming weekend. It all takes place in Bentonville. You can keep up with the tour by visiting kcbs.us/Sam's Tour. kcbs.us/Sam's Tour. All right, as I just mentioned, the 2017 Barbecue Tour coming to its conclusion this weekend in Bentonville, one of the 50 teams that has a shot at winning a whole lot of money and some pretty stiff bragging rights to boot. My next guest is hoping to win the series for a second time. He did it back in 2012. Here to help me handicap the field, talk a little bit about his 2017 competition season, his friend of the show and pitmaster of Lucky's Q, Jason McLaughlin, joining me. Jay, if you tell me you happen to have a barbecue celebrity in your back pocket like my last guest did, I don't know if my heart could possibly handle it. Dave Raymond made an appearance out of nowhere. Can you believe it?
It's crazy.
I draw the biggest names on the show, of course. No surprise to you. That's why Justin McGlon is here to talk to us about the National Pro Barbecue Tour. So if you could catch us up on Lucky's Q, Justin, what was your path to Bentonville this year, starting at the local event?
Well, we decided to go out west this year. We went to Salt Lake City early on. I believe it was in April. And we qualified there to Las Vegas to do the regional, where we did not qualify at first. We ended up finishing 12th. And we had a really good cook, but it was some really good competition out there. There's a lot of good cooks out that way. So time went by, and we were hoping to get our name called. And about 2 months ago, I got an email saying he qualified for Bentonville. And it was kind of one of those crazy things where, he thought it might happen. There's a lot of those guys, they travel a long ways out there. That's a long trip. So, we made it in from Vegas regional.
So, did somebody back out? Or two teams back out or something?
Teams. Yeah, there's 2 teams. I'm not exactly sure. I think one of them might have been Parrot Head. A lot of those guys, like I said, that's a long trip. And if they got a jack draw, that really changes things for some of those teams.
And you don't mind driving, or how long of a drive is it for you? I mean, you're not like coming from just next door. You're coming from Iowa.
Yeah, it's about 8 hours for us. It's not that big a trip. We can break it up.
Yeah, barbecue guys
stay somewhere overnight.
Barbecue guys kill me. It's like that is your backyard trip, right? Oh, it's only 8 hours one way. No biggie.
I'm not Travis Clark or anything, but 8 hours isn't so bad.
Yeah, few are Travis Clark, that's for sure. So, Justin, you won the whole thing 5 years ago. In your estimation, are you cooking the same food more or less as you were back then, or have there been some pretty dramatic profile and cooking changes that you have made just in Lucky's Q camp between then and now?
We're actually cooking a lot of the same food, except for we're hanging ribs. Even though Brad said that's so 2016, we're a lot of the same profiles. We're running the West Coast offense 100%. DPS and Simply Marvelous, and we've done it since then. Pretty much. We're running the same flavors. It's just, you change up sauces a little bit and you tweak a few things here and there or whatever the judges like, but, about the same thing.
When you look at the list of competitors that you and Kate are going to be running up against this weekend, just from my perspective, a guy who doesn't compete and who just loves to talk to you guys, I myself am pooping myself a little bit when you see these names are going to be there. 50 teams that have qualified to get there, but then you start going over the list and you're like, oh my God, this guy was team of the year. These guys were team of the year. These guys have won X amount in a row. Do you ever get nervous at all in this kind of a contest setup, or are you way past that? You're way too seasoned and it's like, hey, let's just get down to business. I'm going to knock all you tools off and win this thing.
To be honest with you, I haven't even really looked at the list. I know, you got Superman, Travis Clark coming out. He's incredible. Tim Shake and Bake, he's just on fire. I know a lot of the teams that are going to be down there. Darren, he's a threat anytime he competes in numerous other teams, that I know are going to be there. I just haven't had time to look at it. You just hunker down and, go cook your own thing. If you get caught up in it, it's gonna overwhelm you a little bit, and Friday night down there is kind of different than any other contest. The Sams are notorious for being kind of quiet, and in Bentonville it is. 9 o'clock comes around 9:30, and you don't see many people except for us. We'll be out and about trying to find someone to have a beer with or something.
It's
keep it relaxed.
It's high stakes out there, right?
Yeah. You're playing, the purse is $150,000. $50,000 for GC. It is high stakes, but we look at it every other contest, same thing. We go to have fun, if we can't have fun, we're going to quit doing this. So, we try to find the people going to hang out with, and we just have a good time. That's what we like to do.
So it's easy to look at your 1 of 50 teams and say, your worst odds are 1 out of 50 that you're going to win this thing. But how do you handicap yourself at winning this thing? What is your percentage of pulling this thing off again for the second time?
That's kind of a hard one. I think we got a good shot. I'm not going to give a percentage. We've been cooking really well this year, especially the tail end of the year. We've put all our categories together. That's the biggest thing. If you bail on one category, you're done. I mean, you can finish top 5 in the other 3, but that 4th one's going to kill you. Consistency wins, and I think that's where what we're going to try to do is just put 4 good categories out there and hope the judges like them. In the past, they've liked what we've turned in, so we hopefully can do the same thing.
Will you look to tweak any flavor profiles? Or I remember, I think Darren Worth wants to punch people in the face when he hears the term flavor profile thrown around as much as it is here, anymore. But he has told me on any number of occasions, look, don't even worry about flavor profile. This is a tenderness game, and if you can cook it perfect and the tenderness is there, if the flavor's lacking, the tenderness is going to make up for it. Do you subscribe to that kind of a mindset? Are you looking for tenderness first and everything else second?
100%. You give them a flavor that's not distracting or overpowering. You're gonna do well. Darren said it best, and I've heard it numerous times. Give me salt and pepper and ketchup, and I'm going to beat you every day with tenderness. So I mean, that's the name of the game. You hit the tenderness, something that doesn't really distract the judges or make them not like the food. You're going to do well.
Justin McGlaughlin joining me from Lucky's Q, taking a look ahead to this coming weekend's Sam's Club National Final. All right, so holding Lucky's Q aside, Justin, when you you said you haven't looked at the rest of the list, but you've kind of mentioned some of the big guys there that are going to be taking their shot at winning Grand Champion. Do you give anybody a better shot at winning this weekend because of past performance or how they're trending right now, or does that not really matter? Barbecue is always going to be different from one weekend to the next.
Well, this weekend is a little different. I mean, take it for what it's worth. You got a lot of master judges. You also have, some. I think they train some judges down there for in their home office for sampling or for judging. And I think some of the teams that are hot right now, you can't argue with when you're on a streak. You look at Travis's record. He's won 13 contests, full point contests, or something like that, or whatever it is, out of 39 total contests. That's just crazy. And Tim's not far behind. He's doing really well. And there's other teams that are going to be down there that are on fire. So, I mean, you can't argue with when a team's hot, you're hot, But, any given day, it can go any which way. So it's kind of crazy how barbecue works.
Justin, we're entering the last quarter of 2017. As you look at where we're at here on a Tuesday, October 3rd, and look back from whenever you started your season this year, how do you grade Lucky's Q's competition season so far?
We had a good year. Our goal was to go out and do the fun contests we wanted to do. We went to Colorado. We did Frisco. We ended up winning that, actually, which got us a jack draw. We did a lot of ones outside of our normal realm. I went to a couple other ones in Minnesota, and, it was fun meeting and seeing different people. And that's kind of what we do this for, just have a good time. And, a lot of those people you meet all around, they're all the same. They're all good, and I did my first Smithfield guinea pig this year, and I enjoyed that. I did that early on out in California, and that was a great time, just to experience the different ways you can experience barbecue and have a good time. That's all it's about.
Justin, you've seen a lot of success in your time in competition barbecue. If you look into the future, while I think it's undeniable, this is just me talking, that barbecue and grilling is as popular as it's ever been when it comes to the backyard warriors, just at your house and around the neighborhood. And so I'm kind of under the belief at this point that the popularity of competition barbecue at best is kind of even, potentially declining a little bit due to a number of factors, one of which might be the cost of competing and the associated items that people think they might need in order to make that leap and be competitive right off the bat. Do you have a take on where the state of barbecue competitions are right now from your perspective?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It is expensive. You throw a $200 brisket every weekend, and, pork, fairly inexpensive, but, it all comes down to how you cook. I cooked against a guy that cooked a prime Costco brisket a couple weeks ago, and, I had a good time talking with him, and he's like, I'm just doing this for fun. He goes, if I can't do it on the fairly cheap, I'm not going to do it. And he beat me that day in brisket, and I cooked a Snake River Farms. That's just how it is. It's how you cook it. And, the meat is one thing, the travel expenses is another. The contest entry fees aren't going up a lot, but the payouts aren't going up with the cost of the meats. There's a few contests around that are coinciding with it, but, when you win a contest and, you'll break even or up above on some of these contests, but it gets really expensive. It really does, and it's hard to compute doing this every week in and week out. If you just don't love barbecue and love the people that are associated with it.
Is there a potential fix for something to change where maybe people don't feel like they do have to have all these high dollar meats, or travel is going to be something that I guess you really can't help if you just don't live in an area that has a lot of barbecue competitions and you want to do it. You're going to have to suck it up and travel out there. But it seems like that there is the guys that are laser focused and that are going to be out there doing it. You have your small percentage of Travis Clark type people. And then I think the wide majority are folks that might do it 5, maybe 10, maybe 15 times over the course of a season. And I think they feel like that they're not able to compete, and there might be some attrition there. So, I'm just trying to spitball ways of keeping the popularity there and making it still feel accessible for everybody in order to keep it growing, and for me to continue to have guests and talk to people like you and everybody else when they're doing good.
I think the biggest thing, I like the format of the Smithfield, the guinea pigs or whatever you want to call them, and they really. One, you show up, you pay $450 or whatever, and you get your meat. And, sometimes it might not be what you pick, but it's the luck of the draw. Meat's provided, and the payouts they spread it all the way down. I mean, it's even. So you might not finish best on the day, but you're going to take home if you finish in one of the top categories, you're going to take home a check, and it's going to be a decent one, and it's going to bring you back. And a lot of these contests are starting to see, hey, let's pay down 10 deep, 15 deep. Let's pay more in overall if we can and spread it out. Instead of the GC getting $4,000, they're going to spread it out down the line. And I really like when contests do that. I think that brings more teams back, and it makes them feel, especially when you get your name called. One of your first or second or fifth contest and you get your name called for a decent call. That's a big thing. And I really think, that's where barbecue needs to go. And I like seeing contests that do that.
Justin, after the Sam's Club event, regardless of how that shakes out, how many more competitions do you have on the docket for the 2017 season?
We're very bleak right now. We're going to do, we got into the Jack. We're going to do that. And then King of the Smoker in California, which you better be at, by the way.
What? Justin, I am very important. I will not be put on the spot like that in order to fry myself. But, hey, if Dave Raymond makes an appearance on this show, who knows what the hell is going to be happening before the end of the year is up. There's no doubt about it. So when you're going to cook the Jack, is it just the same program that you've been running all year? I was just talking to Dave Bosca, and he said that, hey, if I'm going to cook the way I'm cooking right now, and he just took down a grand championship this past weekend in Sapulpa, Oklahoma. I said that right, by the way. He's going to make changes. He knows what he's going to bring to the table now at the Jack isn't going to afford him the best opportunity at winning. Do you feel confident with what you're running right now in order to do that down in Lynchburg?
Yeah, I think what we're running right now is very, what do you want to call it, across the board, similar to just plain Jane, and I think that's what you got to cook down there. I don't know. First year we're there, I think we finished 37th, or something like that. So I think we're going to cook the same thing we're running right now, and hopefully turn out better than what we did then. And I just want to get my name called up there. Never had a call at the Jack, so it'd be kind of fun to do that.
Justin McGlawn is the pitmaster of Lucky's Q, and they're going to be heading down to Bentonville and try their hand at winning the second national title. Did it in 2012. Justin, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for catching up, and good luck this weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Greg. Nice talking to you.
You got it. There he is. My man Jay. Love talking barbecue with Jay. Good guy. Great team. Wife is an outstanding person as well. Love. She's like a great baker too, right? Her desserts are her thing, I believe. Always seeing social media posts. Oh, Katie's gonna be there. Bring these desserts. Wonder why a lot of barbecue guys are. Can't help yourself. We gotta eat. Gotta eat to stay alive. It's like when they asked Lavelle Crawford why he breathes so hard. So I can live. Probably don't understand the humor in that. That's all right. Inside joke for me. I win. All right, let me talk to you quickly about Butcher's Barbecue, folks. That's right, grilling season. Well, some would say it has officially ended. I say poppycock. We're just getting started. Head on over to Butcher Barbecue. It's the only place for all your barbecue and grilling needs, okay? Certainly, we know that Butcher's carries a great selection of barbecue products like injections and rubs. But they have this great product called grilling oil, which I just absolutely love. You hear me talking about it all the time and expressing my undying confirmation and testimonials. But I'm telling you, this is a product that has the ability to change the way you cook. Not only grill and barbecue, but just cook in general. You can use it anywhere, and it's not going to go bad, okay? You leave it right out there on the table or the shelf. Doesn't need refrigeration. It's not going to go bad. It's not going to go rancid. Don't worry about it. Comes in 3 different flavors: butter, Chipotle, steakhouse. I was doing some really good, might I say, really good steaks. And once I finished, whole new method, by the way. I forgot to mention that, but there's a lot of flipping involved at like medium-high heat. A lot of flipping. Don't want the meat to build momentum and heat. And then as I take it right off, boom, little dressing of that grilling oil, butter flavored. Rave reviews. You're missing out if you don't have the grilling oil. That's all I'm saying. Of course, they have the newest thing, which I used on chicken legs over the weekend, was grilling addiction seasoning. Nice little bit of heat there. Like it. Again, all for sale at butcherbbq.com. And as we talked about with Dave earlier in the show, dealers wanted, if you currently own a barbecue and grilling supply store and you don't carry the Butcher Barbecue lineup, what are you waiting for? Hit up butcherbbq.com. Request information on how to become a dealer for them today. Not only will Dave thank you, but your customer service or your customers will reap the rewards by getting these fine products in their hands to try for themselves. These products extensively tested both in the backyard, on the competition trail, and you know they work on the competition trail because guess what? Dave's winning Grand Champagne chips. Get your sweet hiney over to butcherbbq.com and check out all the products. You'll be happy that you did. Butcher's Barbecue. Always trust your butcher. We're back to wrap the show right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. Thanks again to Justin McGlawn for talking the hype of National Pro Barbecue Tour. Again, that'll be coming up. John Dawson, Rems, for what it's worth, I think there are some systemic internet problems happening tonight. I'm dropping a lot of connections as well, even with excellent strength. Oh, no. There was something else. Oh, John also weighing in future of the Sam's Club Tour. My prediction for 2019 is that MMA partners with Sam's to keep it going. Sans KCBS. Whoa, look at that prediction. Also, one more email from John. Sorry, I'm just catching up, but I was living in fascination and ultimate despair with the Deuce and Dave Raymond segment. Remps, here's a suggestion for your embedded correspondence segment. All right, everyone, get ready to vote, yay or nay. The Q. Just a thought. You get it? So, like, the View or the Talk or the Chew. The Q. I like it. That might have legs, Johnny boy. That might just have legs. All right, we are going to wrap it up. We had Ray Lampe in the first hour. We had Dave Bosca in the first hour. We had Deuce and Dave Raymond in the second hour. And, all right, hold on. Got to stop this from happening. All right. Let me try that again. In the first hour, we had Ray Lampe for the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. We had Dave Bosca talking about the Sapulpa, Oklahoma win. Also talked about how you should become a dealer if you have a brick-and-mortar grilling and supply store. I think Steve Ray's a dealer as well, and he's got a service shop on I-75 in Kentucky. Or Tennessee, sorry, Ottawa, Tennessee. In the second hour, Deuce Raymond, Dave Raymond, marred with internet drops all over the place, which I apologize for, but can't wait to have both of them on separately in future shows. And then, of course, we close it out with Justin McGlaughlin from Lucky's Q, talking about the National Pro Barbecue Tour's national final coming up this weekend. We'll see how it plays out. Will the karma reign supreme for both Justin and Deuce Raymond? We shall see. It never doesn't work. We have a really big show already packed up for next Tuesday, so stay tuned for that. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.